following in this video are merely interpretations of biblical prophecies and not conclusions. When Jesus said, "This generation shall not pass until all these things take place," he triggered one of the most debated sentences in the Bible. By linking the budding of the fig tree to a specific window of time, he set a prophetic countdown that continues to drive intense scrutiny. The end times generation is apparently a cohort that will be alive when the signs of the very end times begin to occur. Once these final events start, such as the abomination of desolation and cosmic signs, they will all happen rapidly within that single generation's lifetime, culminating in Jesus' return. Here, the abomination of desolation refers to grave acts of sacrilege or idolatry that is committed within a holy place. Specifically, the temple in Jerusalem, that results in its spiritual and physical abandonment, desolation. The question is, was he talking about his own time or a generation in future? You see, this statement appears in all three synoptic Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and it happens right in the middle of Jesus' discussion of wars, destruction, and divine judgment. So the debate really centers on one key word, generation. What exactly did Jesus mean by it? Let's explore the first-century contemporary view. Yes, this one takes Jesus' words quite literally, referring to a generation of the people alive when he spoke. Now, think about this. Roughly 40 years later, after he spoke, which is considered one biblical generation, Jerusalem and the Second Temple were completely destroyed by the Roman army in AD 70. Supporters of this view argue that this historical event was the very fulfillment Jesus warned about. This means that, while Jerusalem's fall was fulfilled back then, the final return of Christ is still a future event. Now, for a second view, the future end times generation. This interpretation looks forward, not backward. In this interpretation, this generation means the specific generation that will witness the beginning of end-time signs, things like the wars, global upheaval, and what Jesus called the abomination of desolation. Some attach this to the events of the 20th and 21st centuries. Come to think of World War II, the atomic bomb, the re-establishment of Israel, 1948, Middle East conflicts, the Six-Day Yom Kippur War of 1967, the Cold War, the Russian-Ukraine War, etc. Yes, in this interpretation, once that final sequence starts, that very generation will not pass away until everything is completed. Some popular teachings connect this idea to the parable of the fig tree. The prophecy identifies the fig tree as a symbol for the nation of Israel. They have linked the fig tree to the rebirth of the nation of Israel in 1948, suggesting that many who were alive at this date will live to see the return of Jesus. As of 2026, people born then are now 78 years old. They are typically baby boomer generation. Based on Jesus' statement that this generation shall not pass until these things are fulfilled, modern scholars have calculated potential timelines for the end times based on various definitions of a generation. These timelines all start in the year 1948. For example, using the 40 years generation span, initial interpretations pointed to 1988 as the final year of Jesus' return. Of course, the 40 years passed without fulfillment. Another timeline used the 70 to 80 years as generation timeframe. Using Psalm 92:10, the Bible says, "The days of our life contain 70 years, or if due to strength, 80 years. This means then that the end times will stretch between 2018 and 2028 window. Finally is the 120 years based on the book of Genesis 6-3. This points to the end time stretching well up to 2068. Well, now to our third interpretation. The race or kind of people view. This one is all about the language. The original Greek word for generation, genia, can mean more than just a time period. Some scholars argue it refers to the entire Jewish people, who will supernaturally endure as a distinct race, despite persecution, until all prophecies are fulfilled. Just to illustrate, the global Jewish population was around 15.8 million by the end of 2024. Then there is the belief that the word generation is used to mean a recurring kind of people, specifically a persistent human condition of unbelief. For example, it can mean sinners or wicked people that would continue to wreck this world until his return. In this sense, human resistance to God will persist right until the very end. Finally, we have the fourth perspective, the double fulfillment view. This one beautifully combines both history and prophecy. It sees the destruction of Jerusalem in AD 70 as the immediate historical fulfillment, but it also sees that event as a powerful foreshadowing of a greater final judgment still to come. The past event becomes a warning and a pattern for the future. So, what's the takeaway? Across all these interpretations, one thing seems clear. Jesus wasn't giving us a secret countdown. He was calling every generation, past, present, and future, to watchfulness, humility, and responsibility. Thanks for watching. If you found this exploration mind-boggling, please like and subscribe for more.